In this session, we will start our discussion from the interval estimation for the population proportion. In the last session, the previous session, we have discussed up to using of this estimation theory to obtain or to estimate the population mean if you are having a small sample. Now here, what we are going to do is we are going to have the interval estimation for population proportion. So far, we have discussed all the techniques which are related with the estimation for population mean. Now it is time to discuss the interval estimation for population proportion. Proportion in the sense we all know that if you are having x number of items in a particular category, then the proportion of the particular category can be defined as p, and since it is estimated, it can use as the p hat, and x is supposed to be the number of elements in the particular category, and it has to be divided by n, where n is the total number of observations in the data set or total number of observations considered for the survey. Then if you need to take the 100 into 1 minus alpha percent confidence interval for the population proportion, suppose that this is what we are going to estimate. We are going to estimate the find out the interval which is for the population proportion. Then we can construct this 100 into 1 minus alpha percent confidence interval for proportion population proportion by using the equation p hat, where p hat is denoted by x over n, where x is the number of elements in the particular category that we have considered, and n is the total number of observations. Then we can get it as p hat plus or minus z alpha over 2. In the last session, we have discussed about how we can define this alpha and how to use this z alpha over 2 using the normal table. Then we have then it has to be multiplied with p times 1 by p times 1 minus p over n, where p has the same meaning, since we can we if you are no if you do not know about the value p, then we can just replace it by the p hat as well. Therefore, generally we are using the p hat values instead of p. It is because generally we have to estimate p where these the proportion first, and thereafter we can apply it in this equation. Now we will discuss an example related to this. Since I have explained all the necessary things which are associated with obtaining this Z alpha over 2, in this session I am not again and again trying to discuss all these matters of obtaining this Z alpha over 2. Therefore, without uh, taking much more time on the explanation of the Z alpha over 2, we will directly move for the example related with obtaining interval estimation for the population proportion. The example is given as a sample of 70 employees is taken, of which 32 are female. Here we are asked to construct the 95% confidence interval for population proportion. Now it is not for the population mean. We are asked to construct the confidence interval for population proportion of female. The next part is construct 90% confidence interval for population proportion of female, and then construct 99% confidence interval for population proportion of female. Now we'll see how we can obtain the solution. Anyhow, the solution is given. I will do the calculation for you. Here, there is a sample of 70 employees, and among these 70, 32 are female. Then accordingly, we are asked to construct the 95% confidence interval for population proportion of female. Since the details or information regarding the female employees are given for us, then we will try to identify the necessary information which will be helpful for our calculation. In here, it is given that the total number of observation, or the number of units used for the survey, it was equal to 70, and here they are interested about having the count for number of female employees. Then the number of female employees were observed as 32. Then using these values for x and n, we can simply obtain the value of p hat, where p hat can be obtained as x over n, where we can get it as 32 divided by 7. Now we can apply the equation. When before applying the equation, we need to find the value of alpha. In the first part, it asks us to obtain the 95% confidence interval. 95% confidence interval, using this information, we can obtain the value of alpha. What we are going to do is we are going to construct this 100 into 1 minus alpha percent confidence interval. Then this would be equal to 95%. Then we can take this as 1 minus alpha, which is equal to, if you are dividing both sides by 100, we will get this as 0.95, where alpha equals to 0.05, which gives the value of alpha over 2 as 0.025. Now we are using this value to find out the value of Z alpha over 2. Okay, here we have now found out the value for alpha over 2 according to the equation which we have to use for constructing the confidence interval. We know the equation for estimations of estimating or constructing confidence interval for population proportion. We can obtain it as p hat plus or minus z alpha over 2 times square root of p into 1 minus p over n. Now, since we do not know the value for p, we can simply replace it by p hat. Now we know the value for n, but still we do not know value for z alpha over 2. Then value for z alpha over 2, it is now equal to z alpha over 2. We can take it as z 0.025, and we need to find out the value. If you show it in a graphical way, here we get the normal distribution in this way, and we need to find out the value which gives this part as 0.025. If the right side of this point is 0.025, then this uncolored area will be 0.9750. Then we need to find out the value which gives the value of this uncolored area or this area as 0.9750. Using the critical values, we can simply obtain, we need to find out where this 9750. We can see that it is gives us the value for z alpha 2 as 1.96. Here we can see the value is somewhat here, it is 9750. Then appropriate row value and appropriate column value, we can get it as 1.996. Then we can simply use that value as 1.96, and we can now obtain the value for this 95% confidence interval. 95% confidence interval, we can take it as this p hat is obtained as 32 over 70. 32 over 70 plus or minus, if I first write down the equation, can be written as p hat plus or minus z alpha over 2 over times p hat 1 minus p hat over n. Now we can do the substitutions. We know the value of p hat, it is 32 over 70 plus z alpha over 2 was plus or minus 1.96, it is for z alpha over 2. Then p hat, it is 32 over 70. Here it is 1 minus 32 over 70. Then divide this entire by 70, where n is supposed to be 70 since it is the total number of observations that we have observed. Now we have to perform this calculation. Once you get the values, we'll see what we can get it. Here, if we are having this value, then we'll get this as 32 over 70 plus or minus this answer would be 0.1167. Then we can get the value as, if you are subtracting this quantity from 32 over 70, we'll get this quantity which is equal to 0.3404. And if you add the quantity, then we can easily get the upper bound. Then we'll get it as 0.5738. 0.573. Then we can have the interpretation. Then we can say that the 95% confidence interval for population proportion would be in between 0.3404 and 0.5738. Therefore, this is how we are using the concept of constructing confidence interval for the population proportion. And now we can try for the second part. The second part, or this next one, it is asked to construct the 90% confidence level. Second part, it is asked to construct the 90% confidence level. Then we can reuse this the same equation, but the only difference would be the value for alpha only. What we know is it is 90%, then 1 minus alpha would be equal to 0.90, where alpha is equal to 0.10. This leads to the value of alpha over 2 equal to 0.05. Then we need to take the value of Z 0.05, which gives the value. If you see the value, what we can get, we are having this as we said 0.05. That's sense we'll get this area as 0.05, and uncolored area would be 0.9500. 9500, we can have to find the value. Always we are using the probability accurate to 4 decimal places. Then we can have this as one of these values. If you check about with the previous calculations, we have used it as we can see. If we go back, we'll stick into the same value. We can use 1.64 or 1.65. It is quite okay. Here I have used the value as 1.65. Therefore, I will use the same value here. Then I have used the value which is somewhat above. Then I can take this as 1.65. Then we can have this as 1.65 to continue the calculation. Then we can see it is given as, it said 0.05. It is now equal to 1.65. Then we can perform the calculation to obtain the 90% confidence interval for population proportion. It can be taken as now 32 over 70, then plus or minus. The only change is the value of Z alpha over 2, then multiplied with square root of 32 over 70, then 1 minus 32 over 70 over 70. Performing this calculation, we'll able to get the value. We'll get this as 32 over 70 plus or minus 0.0982. Then we can add and subtract the values. Then it can be taken as 32 over 70 minus the quantity. We'll get it as 0.3589. It is the lower value. And the upper value can be taken as 0.5553. Therefore, this is what we can take as the 90% confidence interval for the population proportion. And uh, we can thereafter we can explain, or we can interpret the, we have to interpret the result. We can say that the 90% confidence interval for population proportion among the employees would be 0.3589 and 0.5553. In this way, we can comment on this, and you can try for the third part of this calculation by yourselves. Then I have provided the answer. Here we can see the answer for the third part as well. Since it is 99, accordingly we need to get the value of alpha. Then we need to get the value of alpha over 2. Using that, we can get it as is it alpha over 2, and the suitable substitution gives the value as 0.31 and 0.61. Now we will discuss the scenarios which are associated with constructing the confidence interval for two sample cases. Here, so far what we have discussed was if we are having only one sample, how to construct the confidence interval for a single sample. We had the sample as x of 1. Now what we are going to do is, here we are going to have two samples. Suppose one sample is X and the next sample is Y. Now we are having or we are constructing the confidence intervals to compare these two samples. The general idea or the fundamental idea about this is comparing these two samples. Then to compare this, what we are doing is we are constructing the confidence interval for the differences of these two samples. Then in that scenario, we can consider about the differences of means, then difference of proportions will be considered under this discussion of constructing confidence interval for two sample cases. When we are consider about if there are two samples, first we have to think about whether they are two independent samples or two dependent samples. It is the first thing we have to consider, the independence of sample, and thereafter we have to think about whether it is a large sample or small sample. And by thinking on these two conditions, we will use several methods to have or to construct the confidence interval based on these two samples cases. Under this, what we will going to discuss first is, first we will try to discuss about the what will happen if we are having two populations are independent. Suppose that X and Y are obtained from the samples which are obtained from two independent populations. In that scenario, again we can consider whether we know anything regarding their population variances. Here, the first thing is, first we are considering the two populations are independent. Since the populations are independent, now we are having two independent samples as well. Then we'll have to consider about the population variance. Then first part we will consider having the population variance known, and it would be a large sample. Generally, if we are knowing about the population variance, generally we may have the samples which are having n is greater than or equal to 30. We are considering it in that way, but anyhow, what you have to do is you have to pay the attention regards whether sigma squared is known or unknown. Then if all these conditions are satisfied, first condition, the samples are independent, then having the population variance known, it implies that generally we are having, or we'll consider the next one as the large samples. Then if you are going to construct the 100 into 1 minus alpha percent confidence interval for the difference of the population means, here rather than constructing confidence interval for population mean, we are constructing the confidence interval for the difference of the population means. Here we can get it as mu x minus mu y. Then we can get this as the difference of population means, we can obtain it as x bar minus y bar plus or minus z alpha over 2 into square root of sigma squared x over nx plus sigma squared y over ny. If you consider these two samples, since they are coming from two independent population, samples would be also independent. Then if you are naming our samples as x and y, suppose that we are having the samples, this is our sample x, and if this is the sample y, then the sample mean for sample x is denoted as x bar. The sample mean for sample y is denoted by y bar. Number of observations in sample x denoted by nx, number of observation in sample y denoted by ny. Since we know about the population variances about the original populations, then we can take those as sigma squared x, it is for the population x, sigma squared y for the population y. These uh, values are obtained from the population, and these x bar, y bar, nx, ny are obtained from the sample data. Then using this equation, we can simply construct the 100 into 1 minus alpha percent confidence interval for the difference of the population means, where mu x minus mu y. Here we can see that the selling price of shares are known. The example related to this case, it is two sample case when populations are independent, sigma squared is known, and large having the large sample. Here I will take only the first part. It is because now the second and or part B and part C, the only difference are having the value of Z alpha over 2, and all the other calculations would be same. Therefore, I will discuss the first part for each and every question hereafter. Then you can try by yourselves. Anyhow, the solution is provided, and you can check about the solution for these two parts by yourselves. Okay, now if you move for the example, the selling prices of shares are known to vary with the population standard deviation of 14.14 company A and 9.54 company B. Random samples of 35 shares from company A and 38 shares from company B gave an average prices of 33 and 28 respectively. And also it is believed that there are no dependencies among the companies. Here if you see about or if you consider the provided information, there are two companies. If we consider, we can see that there are two companies, and they are having the known population standard deviation. Then what we know is sigma squared is known. Since sigma is known, sigma squared is automatically known. Then we are having random samples 35 and 38. It means that they are large samples. First we are listing down the conditions. Sigma squared is known, large samples, and then it says that uh, believe that no dependencies implies that the companies are independent. Then it suppose that the samples would be automatically independent. Now we can say that we can apply the concept that we have discussed here. We can use this equation to construct the confidence interval, or this 100 into 1 minus alpha percent confidence interval for this example. If you go for the solution, we can see that it can be seen independent large samples used for the survey. These are the conditions that we have already identified. Then we can say that we can use this equation x bar minus y bar plus or minus z alpha over 2 into sigma squared x over nx plus sigma squared y over ny can be used. Now if you move for this calculation, we move for the first part of the calculation. Then first we need to find out the values for which can be used for the calculation. Here in the first part, it is asked to find out the 95% confidence interval According to the same theory that we have used previously, we can obtain alpha equals 0.05, where alpha over 2 gives the value as 0.025. And this leads to the value of Z alpha over 2. Since it is a large sample, it says that it uses the normal distribution, then Z alpha over 2 gets the value as 1.96. Now, according to the provided information, if they are having, we can name them as company A and company B. For the easiness of our calculation, company A will consider as X, company X, and this will be considered as the, or we'll say them samples as X and Y respectively. Then we can obtain the values for X bar and Y bar. We have to obtain the values X bar and Y bar. X bar is 33. It is according to this calculation. Averages are given as 33 and 28 respectively. Then for company A, it is 33. For company B, it is 28. Then we have to take the values for sigma values for the sample sizes. It was 28. Then values for sample size nx and ny has to be obtained. Then we can get these values for nx and ny. Those are supposed to be the sample sizes 35 and 38. From the first company, 35 units are obtained here, 38 units are obtained for sub. Then the next value is sigma squared x and sigma squared y. We can use them. It is because they have provided the information that they are having it with the non-population standard deviation. It is 14.1 is the standard deviation for company A and 9.5 is for company B. But what we are going to write here is sigma squared. Then we can get it as 14.1 squared. Here this should be 9.5 squared. Then we can construct the 95% confidence interval for difference of means of company A and company B. Here we can take this as x bar minus y bar, x bar minus y bar, plus or minus z alpha over 2 into square root of sigma squared x over nx plus sigma squared y over ny. Then we can do the substitution. If I take the substitution, x bar is 33 minus 28, y bar is 28, plus or minus z alpha over 2 was considered as 1.96. Then we can get sigma squared x, it was 14.1 squared, nx it is 35, plus sigma squared y, it was 9.5 squared, ny it is 30. Now using this calculation, we can get the first part as 5 plus or minus. We can have the value. The calculation gives the value as 5.56. It is 5.56. Then we'll get it is equal to, here it is minus 0.56, and we can get the next one as 10.56. Therefore, this can be considered as the 95% confidence interval for the difference of means. Here not it is for just for company A or the company B. Here we are constructing the 95% confidence interval for the difference of means of company A and company B. And this is how we are using the concept of constructing the confidence interval for the population means. Here we have discussed, if you are having large sample or independent large sample having a non-population standard deviation. Now we will move for the discussion for the next concept. In here we'll consider it as a part B under this large sample case having the independent. Here, suppose that if you are having two independent populations, then if it has the if it has the unknown population variance, but still the samples are large, it means that the value of nxn, so rather than saying n greater than 30, we'll take nx greater than or equal 30 and ny greater than or equal 30. In this situation, what we can do is to construct the 95%, or what we are saying as this 100 into 1 minus alpha percent confidence interval for the difference of the population means mu x minus mu y. Here, since x and y, the difference of x and y, sample x and population x and population y, we can use this equation. The only difference compared to the previous one is this since the population variance is unknown, we have to replace it with the sample variance. But still we can use the value as this critical value as is a alpha over 2 associated with the normal distribution. It is because since we are having the large samples, we are considering the large samples, then we can take it as the z alpha over 2. Then if you see an example related with this, I have take the same example, just having the just considering the population variances are unknown. Here it is given that the sample standard deviation according to the samples obtained. The only difference in this calculation with the previous one would be instead of using the population standard deviation, the sample standard deviations are obtained here. It is because it says that an analyst wishes to identify the similarity among the prices of shares among company A and B. It has used 35 shares from company A, 30 from company B, and then the mean values or the average prices are 33 and 28 for A and B respectively. Then it says that based on the samples obtained, they have obtained the standard deviation. It means that there is no any sense regarding the population standard deviation or population variance. Then based on the samples obtained, they are commenting or they are obtaining the value for standard deviation as 14.1 and 9.5. Then we can take this as here we are asked to construct that confidence interval, but it is also believed that there is no any dependencies. Here, if we are uh, gathering the information which are related, here we are having two populations and they are supposed to be independent. They are supposed to be independent. It says that no dependencies. Then next one is they have obtained large samples since we are having both as the values which are greater than 30, but what we know is sigma squared is unknown. Since sigma squared is unknown, what we have to do is we have to replace the sigma squared with s squared, where s squared is denoted as the sample variance. Then the solution for this example can be obtained in this way if, by using the equation that we have discussed previously. We can use that equation. According to the provide data, the information, if you write down, what we know is according to the survey, they are having two companies A and B. The samples are named as X and Y. According to the sample data, they are having X bar and Y bar, where X bar was obtained as it is the sample mean 33 and 20, X bar and Y bar 33 and 28. And if you take the sample sizes nx and ny, sample sizes nx and ny. Those are supposed to be 35 and 38, since it is those are the values provided, 35 and 38. And what we are remaining is, it is sx squared values and sy squared value. Since they do not have any information regarding population variance, we are using the sample variances, then we can get this as 14.1 square and 9.5 square. Since it is just to ask the 95% confidence interval, then we can take the value of alpha is equal to 0.05, while alpha over 2 is equal to 0.025. Then we can get the value of z alpha over 2 as the 1.96. Then we can construct the 95% confidence interval for the difference of means of company A and company B, A and B. Then we can get this as if A is given as X bar and denoted as X and Y, then we can take X bar minus Y bar plus or minus Z alpha over 2 over, instead of sigma squared, here we have to use the Sx squared over Nx plus Sy squared over Ny. And using the appropriate substitution, we can get this as 33 minus 28 plus or minus. Here we are getting the value as 1.96 is over. Now 14.1 squared over 35 plus 9.8 squared over 9.5 squared over 38. Then the substitution and this calculation gives the value. For the first part, it is 5 plus or minus 5.56. We are getting the 95% confidence interval for the differences as minus 0.56 and 10.56. Therefore, this is how we are constructing the confidence interval for the difference of means if you are having large independent samples having unknown population variance. The only thing what we have to do is we have to replace the unknown variance or the population variance with sample variance. And since we are still having large samples, we can still use the normal distribution for using as the critical value. Then if you see about this calculation, I have included it for the 90%, the confidence interval for 90%, as well as confidence interval for 99% as well. Now we will move for the discussion. The third part, it is the population variance is unknown, still having the small samples. Under the first part, if I summarize about the things that we have discussed so far, for the two samples case, first we have the under the two samples case, in the part A, what we had was we had independent samples. Independent large samples having sigma squared norm. If this condition satisfies, then we are using Z alpha over 2. Then we can construct the confidence interval using the equation x bar minus y bar plus or minus Z alpha over 2 into sigma squared x over nx plus sigma squared y over ny. Then in the part B, we have considered still independent, large samples, sigma squared unknown. Then this, since it is large, then we can still use the normal distribution to find out the critical values. Then we can get it as x bar minus y bar plus or minus is it alpha over 2. Instead of sigma squared, what we can use is sx squared, and here we can get it as sy squared over n. Now the third case, in the third case, what we are going to discuss is we are having independent. Now we are considering small samples. We are considering small samples. Since it's small samples, generally we do not know sigma squared. Then in this scenario, what we are using, we are using the t distribution, student t distribution, and we can take the equation as x bar minus y bar. Here it is given as it is given as plus or minus t nx plus ny minus 2 times. Here we are using another concept, is pooled standard deviation. It is into 1, it is given as 1 over nx, 1 over nx plus 1 over ny. If you are having this condition, if it is given that assume, if it is asked that assume equal population variance, here we are discussing this condition as well. Even though sigma squared is unknown, the only information we are having is equal population variance. If it is asked us to assume that equal population variances, then instead of taking the what we are saying as these the sample variances, we are making it as a pool, and we are obtaining the sample variance for that pool. Then we can denote as this pool sample. If it is SP, then it would be pool sample standard deviation. Then pool sample standard deviation can be obtained as the equation for pool sample. It is the, we can say this as the pooled sample standard deviation. Then pool sample standard deviation can be considered as nx minus 1 times sx squared plus ny minus 1 times sy squared over nx plus ny minus 2, which has the same meaning as previously. Nx and ny are the sample sizes of x and y. Sx squared and sy squared are the sample variances of sample x and sample y respectively. Then using this equation, we can obtain the pool sample standard deviation by taking the square root. We can get the standard deviation, then it is denoted as SP. Then we can use this equation to obtain the 100 into 1 minus alpha percent confidence interval. Now you can see that the same equations as used here. Here the confidence level, the critical level, it is we are considering as alpha over 2. Then we can say if we are having small samples but independent small samples having unknown population variance, but it is quite given as the assumed to be have the equal population variances. And to construct the 100 into 1 minus alpha percent confidence interval for the difference of the population means mu x minus mu y, we can use the equation x bar minus y bar plus or minus t. It is here what we are getting the value, numeric value we are getting for nx plus ny minus 2. What we are saying as the degree of freedom, and alpha over 2 is supposed to be the confidence level, and SP, it is supposed to be the pool sample standard deviation into 1 over nx plus 1 over ny. And pool sample standard deviation can be calculated using this equation. Here an example is provided. An experiment is conducted to compare the knowledge on safety rules of the company among the employees who are having more than 5 years work experience and employees who are having less than 5 years experience. Here it says that they are considering two groups. They are considering or saying they are obtaining two samples from the two groups that we can say as the employees who are having more work experience, which are having more than 5 years experience, and the next set of employees are the workers who are having less than 5 years experience. Then in that situation we can simply say these are two independent samples, since there is no any overlapping or no any considered as these are two no any dependencies. Then we can say these are two independent samples, but they have selected small samples, the two randomly chosen groups separately. Then they ask us to assume that the population variances are equal for these two groups, and then they have conducted a proficiency test to measure their knowledge. Then the summary details are given in this table according to the experience above 5 years and below 5 years. They have constructed, or they have constructed two groups and named them as group X and group Y. The sample sizes given as 12 and 10. Sample mean and sample standard deviations are obtained in this way. But they are, apart from this information, they says that we, we have to assume that the population's variances are equal for these two groups. Now, what we can do is, since it asks to assume that the population variances are equal, we can use the concept of the pool sample standard deviation. Then using that, if you are summarizing the information we are having, if you are named that the sample X and sample Y, we have to get the value for X bar, Y bar, then we need the value for nx, ny, then standard deviations sx, sy. According to the values, sample means 46.31, 42.79. 46.31, 42.79. Sample sizes 12 and 10. They have provided this sample standard deviation 6.44, 7.52. Apart from that, they are saying that assume equal population variances. Even they ask us to assume equal population variance. They are just they are just commenting on the population, not on the sample variances. Sample variances will be vary according to the sample that they are obtaining. Okay, now what we can use is we can use these 100 into, we can construct 100 into 1 minus alpha percent confidence interval. We can use this equation. It is x bar minus y bar plus or minus t nx plus ny minus 2. Region is alpha over 2. Then this is multiplied with pool sample standard deviation into 1 over nx plus 1 over ny. Now we can substitute the values. Apart from substituting, first we need to obtain SP and we need to identify the critical value. If you identify the pool sample standard deviation, SP can be obtained by using the equation nx minus 1 over sx squared plus ny minus 1 times sy squared over nx plus ny minus 2. Then we'll get it as 12 minus 1. Then as x squared, it is 6.44 squared plus ny, it is 10 minus 1. Then it is 7.52 squared divided by 12 plus 10 minus 2. You have to take its square. This calculation leads to the value. Here the solution is provided, which is equal to 9.43. We'll get this value as 9.43. Now we need to obtain this critical value. Critical value, it is t nx plus ny minus 2 alpha over 2. Since in the first part it is asked to construct 95% confidence level, then if it is 95%, alpha would be equal to 0.05 and alpha over 2 leads to the value as 0.025. Now we need to get this value, this nx plus ny minus 2. We'll get this as 12 plus 10 minus 2, which leads the value as 20. Then we need to find out the value of t20. Here for nx plus ny minus 2, we are substituting directly this value 20. Then value of alpha over 2, it is 0.025. Then we can use the critical values table. Here we use the standard this t distribution table, and it says that the two tails having only 0.05, then one tail would be 0.025, and then we have to use this column. But the value of 20 or degrees of freedom equals 20, then gives the value as 2.086. Then we can use this as 2.086. Yeah, it is mentioned that as well, 2.086. And the substitution, we can now do the substitution. 95% confidence interval. Here it is x bar minus y bar. Since we have the equation, we'll do the substitution. This is the equation. X bar is 46.31. 42.79, it is y bar, then plus or minus tn x plus ny minus 2 alpha over 2, since it is 95%, then we'll get this value as 2.086 multiplied with then we need to take the pool sample standard deviation as well. It is 9.43 into 1 over nx. Nx was obtained as 12 and ny was 10. Now it is 12 here, then 1 over 10. Then according to the here the solution is obtained as well. Then we can get this is equal to this is 3.52 plus or minus 8.42. This calculation leads to the value of 8.42. Accordingly, we are getting the values 3.52 minus 8.42. We'll get the value as minus 4.90. And if you add these two values, then we'll get it as 11.94. Then we can say that the difference between or the 95% confidence interval for the difference of the population means for the workers or the employees who have above 5 years working experience and below 5 years working experience have the values from minus 4.90 to 11.94. Therefore, this is how we are constructing confidence interval for the independent samples. And this is all what I need to discuss for this session, and thank you all for your participation.